What's up guys, Steven here, welcome back to another video. So, in the last day something happened that we all knew it will happen one day, but we didn't expect it to happen. Now Huawei was banned by the US government, and the internet right now is full with videos about it, but also there's a lot of misinformation on this topic. So I worked with Huawei really closely over the last months. I did a lot of research on 5G, I was attending a lot of conferences about 5G, and it's really sick what is going on right now. So well guys, today in this video I want to inform you a little bit what happens to you as Huawei user right now, what's going to happen if you're interested in buying a Huawei smartphone, what you should do right now, and also clean up with a little bit of misinformation. So guys, get ready with me for the truth about Trump's Huawei ban. US President Donald Trump moves to effectively ban Chinese telecommunication firms from doing business with American companies, and it's going to impact both the nations and the global tech industry. Huawei has been added to the so-called entity list, and this prevents it from buying parts or technology from US suppliers without government approval, as its equipment is considered potential tools for Chinese espionage. ZTE was previously added to the entity list, and the manufacturer suffered greatly as a result, as it was forced to hold all the sales of many phones. But ZTE doesn't make its own chipsets and components. Huawei has its own chip company called HiSilicon, and they said it has long been prepared for this eventuality. Even though Huawei has their own chipset facility and HiSilicon produces chipsets and modems for many Huawei phones, including all of its flagship and mid-range models, they still make use of the chipsets from US companies and some lower-end phones and all of its laptops. I'm personally using a Huawei MateBook X Pro with an Intel i7 processor, and the new MateBooks are also around the corner. So the imagination that Intel would stop working with Huawei could have a big impact on their super fast growing notebook business as well. Beside Intel, also Qualcomm is working on the very powerful Snapdragon chipset for laptops, but they are based in the US as well. Now beside these hardware issues, also this ban affects the software side. In order to comply with the law, Google had to take away Huawei's license. In 2009, Huawei joined the Open Handset Alliance, as part of its efforts was to promote a unified Android platform. OHA members are contractually forbidden from producing devices that are based on incompatible forks of Android, but now with the ban, this has changed, and that's not a good thing. There have been rumors about Huawei OS even earlier, around the release of the Huawei MateBook X Pro, but back at this time, Huawei insisted to cooperate with Microsoft. I think even back at the time, Huawei already knew that this ban may come one day. And this was also the time where Huawei started to really push their cloud service and build a big ecosystem around the products. Huawei, which is the world's second largest smartphone vendor right now, based on shipments, said that it will continue to develop a safe software ecosystem for its customers across the globe. So that means that Huawei will also extend the support to Honor, a brand of smartphones which it owns. And until this OS is ready to deploy, Huawei could rely on AOSP. Now AOSP stands for Android Open Source Project, and it is the open source version of Android. The main difference is that it comes stripped off Google Mobile Services, which is a package for Google services such as the Google Play Store, Gmail and YouTube. But that's just needed as an alternative until Huawei has released their OS, which they have built in the case of an emergency situation. Also, this is only a problem for the newly released Huawei devices, like the new Mate series which is upcoming, because smartphones available right now, like the P30 series, will receive all the updates as Google said. It looks like Huawei has prepared the software for this event, and this also has been shown by the big efforts in the last years of building their own Huawei cloud services. In addition to Android, the US government's move has seen Intel, Qualcomm, Xilinx and Broadcom reportedly pause supplying chips to Huawei until a resolution has been reached. But this ban also has negative impacts for the US. Apple's, Intel's and Qualcomm's business could be impacted in the future in China, as they are both US companies. However, the Chinese smartphone vendors also heavily rely on Qualcomm's chipsets, and if China bans or increases the tax on Qualcomm, it also won't be good for the Chinese companies. So banning Huawei from buying components or software from the US companies would surely impact Huawei's global business and also impact the overall industry as well. Huawei is buying more than $11 billion in goods and services from the US companies each year. And also for the P30 series, they bought enough materials to fit the demand. But right now we don't know what's going to happen in the future. But we do know one thing for sure: it will also make the US suppliers suffer. But what about 5G? It looked like this and the fast growth of Huawei to the second biggest smartphone maker have affected this ban. Now the main thing is that Huawei's 5G equipment is very affordable. So while the US could use products from other vendors, they're usually of higher cost. There are basically two other really big players in the space. There's Ericsson and Nokia, and they aren't American companies either, but not subject to the same sanctions. It's really weird, even though Nokia smartphones are produced by HMD Global's factory and supplier Foxconn in China. However, the relationship between Huawei and the countries in Europe is stable, but there is a possibility that in the future more countries could join the US ban, and also Australia has banned Huawei's 5G equipment. But at this stage, I don't think that any big European country would ban Huawei, as its 5G solutions are way cheaper and competitive compared to other players. All in all guys, it's a big mess for the whole tech industry and a really sad day for the mobile industry. And it's also really sad to see that politics can slow down the innovation and technical growth all around the globe. So guys, that was basically in a nutshell what happened and what will probably happen in the future. But if you look into the past, almost the same ban happened to ZTE. Now ZTE is a big telecommunications company, they also do smartphones, and when that ban hit them, they actually had to go out of business for some reasons. First of all, it's a way smaller company than Huawei, but still a big company. Now 25% of their parts of the smartphones came from the US. That's really a lot. And also, they couldn't push any security updates, no Google, so it was a big hit for the company. It had to go out of business for some time. So they managed to come back by paying money to the government. I think it was the first time something like 400 million. And then there was also a team from the US and they were checking that they comply with all the bullshit US regulations. Anyway, they did somehow lie or something. I don't know the story exactly, but they broke some embargo. And then they had to pay $1 billion to stay in business. So really ridiculous. And it was just all about the money. And yeah, this was not good for ZTE. So this was really, really a big hit. So from looking at the past, this could also be a possible solution now for the future. So maybe Huawei could find an arrangement with the US government, pay a lot of money and actually be able to do business again with the US, or maybe also there has to be a compliance team checking everything, maybe even reverse engineer stuff, I don't know. But I think Huawei won't go that way. Now, nobody knows what Huawei will do, but it's a way bigger company than ZTE. They're kind of independent, still they depend on the US, but they have a lot of sources, a lot of knowledge, a lot of research and development that they can do some stuff on their own. So I'm pretty sure they have something in the back, like an operating system. We all know about that. Not going to be sure if they're going to release it or stay with Android open source project or what other ways are coming up. And also, it's very different to ZTE because they make their own chipsets. So they make their own chipsets, the high silicon Kirin 980, for instance, now in the Huawei P30 Pro. And yeah, it's a great chipset, but still some parts from their phones are needed from the US. And it's a really huge company, a global company, so they can probably find some solutions to source all those things from somewhere else. And I think this is actually the way which Huawei will go. Now regarding 5G, well, a lot of political reasons. Now Huawei is now the second largest smartphone maker behind Samsung, so they overtook Apple, which is really crazy. And I think the growth of Huawei was just too fast for the US, and the US got really scared about that massive Chinese company which will take over the world with their telecommunications equipment, smartphones. There was once a good saying that a country without their own telecommunications is like a country without an army. And this also happens to the US right now. So they rely on a lot of technology outside of the US, and they're really scared right now about all these other companies of China and all that stuff. But the problem is that Huawei is really advanced in 5G. They're not only the technology leaders, they also have the technology at really good prices. So what will happen right now if they try to pick another company, that the price of the whole 5G thing will raise up. So now if the US decides to go with another company like Nokia or whatever, now their system also works, but it's like way more expensive, probably can't roll out that fast, and probably isn't that good. So overall, this trade war right now, whatever you want to call it, is not only affecting the government, it is affecting the consumers, it is affecting the businesses, because it will take longer for 5G to arrive. It will not only take longer, it will be more expensive. Also, Huawei has a big department in enterprises, so servers, everything, and a lot of businesses rely on that. And it's really crazy that this government thing here will also raise the prices for us consumers and for a lot of businesses and bring a lot of troubles. But as a consumer, just like me, I'm a Huawei user, so I'm using the P30 Pro, but also sometimes I have here an iPhone for comparison. I mean, all good smartphones, but really, for me, it's like I want to buy the smartphone which I want and not which the government is saying that I'm allowed to have. It's the same for China. Now, Huawei does not do a lot of business in the US. They do a lot in China mainland, and in China you don't have any Google services. So in China they don't care about it, but Europe is a very potent market for Huawei. Also India right now is growing a lot, and these are actually the countries where Huawei needs to have Google. So this can be really tricky in the future. But for the customers right now, if you have a Huawei smartphone, I've seen a lot of comments like, sell your phone as soon as possible. I would actually say that's big bullshit. Now the P30 Pro, if you just bought it like me, if you sell it right now in the panic sale, I already see some prices dropping, then it's stupid because you lose money, and it's still a good phone. So you will keep getting updates for the devices which are right now on the market, so you don't have to be scared about that. And if you sell it right now, it would just be plain stupid because you would lose money. Now for the future devices, well, not sure what's going on, but the P30 Pro definitely will get cheaper right now. And actually this is a good solution to buy the phone, because this model will still get the updates. So you will get it for a cheaper price, but it's still a good phone right now. So I'm really curious on where the prices of the P30 and P30 Pro will go in the next months. But don't panic sell your Huawei smartphone if you have it right now. That would just be a stupid idea. Anyway, big interesting topic. There will also be a truth about 5G, which I already made, which is going to be uploaded very soon. I think this is a very interesting topic all around the world, so stay tuned for that. If you watched until this point, oh my god, congratulations. Yeah, and big thanks. So if you watched until here, then write the hashtag Huawei down below in the comments. I would really be super curious who watched until this point. Anyway, big thanks for watching again. And just because I still have your attention, my last words are, Dear Trump, f*** you. Alright, big thanks for watching, have a nice day, and bye.